Good evening, everybody, and welcome to another episode of Mr.Fred and Friends. I'm your host, Fred Schultz, and got a pretty good show for you tonight. We're going to be talking Bunker Fest tonight with Jeff Munoz, and I know I butchered your name, Jeff, so you can tease me later, and Chris Rangel. I think I got that one right, so I've been practicing that one all day, actually. I want to start the show by thanking. Last week I wasn't on the show because I had a previous commitment, so I want to thank my friend Keith Kissel and obviously William Bailey. They kind of pulled the load for me last week, and they did a pretty good job, and I appreciate it very, very much. So anyhow, it's going to be a pretty entertaining show here tonight, and I'm looking forward to it. But I want to say hi real quick to Paul Farrell and Ryan Courtney and Brandon Melvin. How you doing, my friend? We're going to be talking. I like pushing every bit of paintball. Period. I absolutely love it. And I like putting on people I think that are really, really good for the sport of paintball, because that's what actually helps paintball grow is people like that. And Tony Diaz. Tony, we're going to be talking to guys down in your area. Tony's from Texas, and that's where Bunker Fest is going to be held. So I think it's going to be pretty cool. I wish I didn't have so much going on. I would love to go down there and hang out with everybody and just enjoy the heck out of it. But I got a couple things I want to mention real quick. I'm going to give my shout outs before we pull these guys out here real quick. But, we got the Montressor Classic is going to be coming up, and it's going to be at Fox Paintball, and that's in Yorkville, Illinois. And it's going to be July 29th and 30th. And it's Woods Ball, and, the Montressor Classic, Frank and Jennifer, which are friends of mine, their son Tim actually started it years ago. And they're just continuing on in his honor. So if you get a chance, like I say, all of these that I mentioned, guys, even if you're not going to play, go out and support it. Go out, support the teams, meet the owners of these fields and see what a great time these people are having. And, that's what brings more people into our sport. And that's exactly what we're looking to do, is bring more people into the sport, period. So July 29th and 30th, Montressor Classic is at Fox Paintball in Yorkville, Illinois. And then coming up next weekend, and I am so excited, I cannot wait for this. The second of the WCPL tournament circuit this year is going to be at Panhandle Paintball down there in Florida. And it's going to be April 1st and 2nd. And it's down by Pensacola, actually, is where it is. And I cannot wait to do it. Steve Prisco and Dan Colby, that's their field down there. They've been working really, really hard, and they're pretty excited about having everybody come down there. And I am very excited about going down there because, like I always say, when a lot of my best friends are paintball. How did I meet them? Paintball. Am I grateful? Absolutely. I am so grateful, because a lot of these people, our paths would have never, ever crossed. Never, if it wasn't for the sport of paintball. So, paintball to me, it has blessed me in so many different ways. I can't even begin to tell. That would be about a 1 week show if I had to tell you how blessed I feel about all the people I got to know, the places I've got to go over the years, the things I've got to do. And it's all because of paintball. And so, I wish all paintball players would have good fortune all the time. And, the more people you meet in this sport, the more you can do for the sport, because what you end up doing is you end up connecting with each other, and then pretty soon you're working together with somebody else to do something, or you go and have a great time like I am going to have coming up in Florida this next weekend. It's like a homecoming for me. I get to meet all my old friends, and the real plus is getting to meet a lot of the new people. I just absolutely love that. It is just very, very cool. I can't even begin to tell you. So anyhow, I always give my shout outs every week. And the reason that I do this is back in the day, these people, which I'm blessed to call them all friends, they worked very, very hard to make paintball what it is today. Now, would paintball still be here? Yeah, it probably would be. But would it be here in the capacity that it is now and with the history that it supports now? I'd have to say no. These people were so instrumental in what they've done over the years. And not just the money, which is gobs and gobs of money they put out, but the time and effort that they did. And I just want everybody to always remember these people. I think they're terrific. And I start out every week with probably one of my best friends in the sport of paintball, and has been just a friend of mine for years and a sponsor of mine, Mr. Tim Schloss. Now, Tim has Tiger Stripe camouflage back in the day, and the new Tiger Stripe camouflage is coming back. They are actually on order, and we should have them in a few weeks. So you're going to want to be looking for that. One of the coolest camouflage patterns and one of the coolest colors, everything about it. And Tim Schloss actually is part of the WCPL, and he has the last tournament in St. Louis in October. So Tim Schloss, one of the greatest guys I've ever got to know, period. And then where I'm going next week, Mr. Dan Colby. Dan and John Colby have Immortal Air right now. They've been my sponsors for like 32 years. When I started with them, as you can see, my Air America jacket up there, we started with Air America, and now they are Immortal Air, and one of the best air systems that there is out on the market, period. And James Howdy McGough is watching. What's going on, Howdy? Howdy's another one that I think is terrific for the sport of paintball. Terrific, terrific person. And then my little buddy, Budor. I don't have to say a lot about Bud. Everybody knows War Game Products. Everybody knows Autococker. Budor is... he's also a staple in this industry. And, the people I talk about on this list still do for paintball what they did back in the day, which is absolutely incredible. Now, Mr. Tom K was my second auto. I use my marker. He had Automag back in the day, and he was a second marker that sponsored me. I mean, his company sponsored me for years, and years, and took care of me so well. And I'm always grateful. Tom K, just a terrific person. Then Rainy Juvie Boucher had Paintball News back in the day. 2 times a month, you could go out to your field and pick up one of these newspapers, and it told you what just happened, what was coming up. But what was real cool is it had where all the fields were located. So you could look at this map and you could see where all the fields were located. It was so absolutely cool. Just absolutely love it. And I see Kevin Donaldson is chiming in here. Kevin, longtime friend. I can't ever say enough about Kevin. Terrific person. Master Blasters. That's just a name that's synonymous with paintball and has been for a long time. And they have the 3rd WCPL, and it is in June, the middle of June, June 9th, 10th, 11th. And it's out there in Newburgh, New York. And I got to tell you, you want to play a cool field. They have the Ponderosa there. It's about 6 miles long, but it is probably one of the best woods ball fields you ever want to play. And it is probably the oldest woods ball field I think that tournaments were ever held on. Because I remember going back there, I think it was in 88 or something like that, 89. It's been out there a long, long time. So Kevin Donaldson's watching right now. I want to give him a howdy to you, my friend. Great, great person. And then Randy Camilla had APG back in the day, was the editor for APG. Jerry Braun had Paintball Sport back in the day. In the paintball field in Newburgh, New York, is Paintball Sports, owned by Jerry Braun. So that's pretty cool. If you get a chance, like I say, all of these that I mentioned, same way with Bunkerfest that we're going to be talking about tonight. If you guys do not play, you get a chance, go out and support these guys. Go out and check it out. See the fun they're having. You're going to want to go play paintball too. You're going to meet guys like Jeff out there, and once you talk to these guys, you're going to love them. You're going to want to go hang out with them. You're going to want to go do it. Believe me. And Rick Wilcox is watching too. How you doing, my friend? I hope Lori's okay. Lori, his wife, and her sister are on a 16-day train trip. Now, I'm not really sure if they're doing it to have fun or just get away from Rick. So, it's going to be one or the other, but I'm sure they're going to have fun either way. So I'm loving it. And I got to say hi to Ross Alexander Line SI. That was my very first market sponsor. I've got to say hi to Mr. Jim Lively. 2 tournaments back in the day you wanted to do. Jim Lively's Masters in Tennessee and Jerry Braun's World Cup in New York. It was like a homecoming. Those 2, I get so excited when I get to go do those because I know I was going to see all my friends, like I said earlier in the show, friends that I would normally not be able to see if it wasn't for the sport of paintball. Then I got to say hi to Mr. Gino from Velkin. Now, I mention Gino every week because, I mention him, everybody goes, Gino, big guy, all that. He is a big guy, but you guys don't see what he does behind the scenes for the sport of paintball. He does an awful lot. He never toots his horn, so, I toot it every week for him because I like what he does for the sport of paintball. I think he's a great guy, and he works really, really hard. And does he make money? Yeah, he makes money. I mean, you don't make money, you're not in business. Simple, like that. But does he help a lot of people with that money? He absolutely does. And then 2 young guns. Everybody knows I love the young guns because they are, bar none, the future of our sport, period. And I say hi every week to my 2 little buddies, Mark Gong Jr. and Jaden Gong. 2 great, great kids. They really, really are. So let me bring out my buddy, Mr. William Bailey here real quick. What's going on, Billy?
Cleaning up a mess.
Cleaning up a mess, huh? Nothing for it. Yeah, we got some good guys on here tonight, man.
Yes, they are. I can't wait to hear about Bunkerfest.
Yeah. Oh, it's going to be pretty cool. And Jeff, you've already met Jeff.
Yes.
What's his last name?
M. Big M. That's what all his friends call him. Big M.
Jeff, I just butchered. It makes me feel so bad, man. Anyhow. Okay, let me bring him in. I'm going to give it a shot anyhow. Please, everybody welcome Mr. Jeff. Oh, God, I'm going to blow. Munoz? Oh, God.
It's close.
Jeff.
It's close. I'll just pretend you guys have been drinking because I'm going to start drinking too. So let's just go with that. It's my mother's probably like rolling right now and going, no, it's Munoz. Tell these people how to pronounce your last name, Jeff.
Is it Munoz?
It's just Munoz. It is.
Oh, somebody told me it wasn't that.
Wow.
Oh, I've been set up.
Someone's not cultured, so you should get.
Oh, Munoz. Oh my okay. God. I could have handled that too. You know that? Without a lot of practice.
Well, a lot of practice. Yeah.
Okay. Well, that's good. Now you're here tonight, and you brought the owner of the field and the owner of Bunkerfest on with us tonight. Am I right?
I did. I think Bunkerfest is one of those things that is hitting this year very hard with a full season. In fact, we've already done two events in Austin and then also Mardi Gras at LAX Paintball. But this year, the focus was to do an entire season, and we're going like it's this weekend. And I think we should just roll Chris in and let's start talking about it and tell you guys what it's all about.
Oh man, it's your show. Let's do it. Please, everybody welcome Mr. Chris Rango. How you doing, Chris?
How's it going? Appreciate you having me on tonight.
Oh yeah, it's my pleasure. It really is. I had Jeff on a couple of weeks ago with one of my favorite groups, the Filipino Paintball Worldwide group. I love those guys. I think they're not only a classy bunch, but man, they are really making some waves in the sport of paintball with their teams and everything like that. And I am so happy with them. So when I had him on, he was like, oh man, we got to have Chris on. We got to talk about this, about Bunkerfest. So here we are, Chris.
Yes, sir.
So, I'm going to hit you up right off the bat. Everybody that's new on the show, ask them a question right off the top. How'd you get started in paintball, my friend?
Let's see. Brass Eagle was king, and my buddy showed up with a Tiger Shark pump. And from that day forward, we were shooting each other in the backyard, and we just had an arms race. And it was like one day, my friend showed up with a Titman, or not a Titman, a Piranha, and then I got a Titman, and it was just back and forth, and that was like 25 years ago. So been playing ever since. And I had my autococker phase and then my shocker phase, and I was always a poor kid, so I didn't have a lot of opportunities to get nice toys until I got in the military. And I remember I got my first like real gun. I took a loan out when I was a E3 or E2, and I bought a shocker, and then I deployed 2 weeks later.
That's how it works. Yeah, it's a good marker. So how'd you get started with the Bunker Fest thing? Now, what possessed you to do that?
So in 2017, we took over Animal Customs, and part of the IP was Bunker Fest. It was kind of just buried in, the terabytes of data that Mondo and had, done over the years. And originally, I wanted just to have a good time with my friends. I just wanted to have a tournament, see my friends, just have like kind of a beer league. And, it kind of got stalled out because of the way the industry is. And then COVID happened. And by that time I was like, all right, I've already invested like 3 years of my life because of this and this project. And we were finally able to do it. So, overall, like I tell people, this Bunker Fest started because I got told no. And a lot of people were like, you can't do it. It's, it's a lot of money. It's a lot of risk, all this other things. And I was like, I don't really give a shit. So, I did the brain grunt thing and didn't listen to anybody. And here I am.
Then he goes, Jeff, I have this really great idea. I'm like, crap. Here we go.
And that's how he dragged you in?
It was pretty much it. I mean, like, I remember when Chris had called me initially. This is well before the first event. This is years before the first event. And Chris goes, hey, I want to do Bunker Fest, just like it was, prolifically back in the day. And a lot of people don't know the answer to this or know this conversation. And I said, I asked Chris, well, what's your ROI on this? What's your return on investment? And Chris goes, well, Jeff, I just want to do it differently. Like, Chris and I have been playing together. Chris, how long have we known each other? Like 10 years ish or so?
Yeah, give or take. Yeah.
So we because he was a Marine, I was an Army soldier, and we both played paintball. Our paths would cross multiple times. We either play against each other or with each other, or we'd be doing the same we have the same type of motivation when it came to military sourcing and helping veterans out. And because of that tenure that we've had for such a long time, ultimately Chris just told me, like, I just want people to experience what you and I have experienced together by creating stories with our friends and having a good time. And again, like we talk about on this show, paintball is just a game that's full of stories. That's what really sustains paintball, is the cool people that just you meet and the stories that you build with those people and those memories. And Bunker Fest has done that with the first 2 events, and I cannot wait to see people have more stories for an entire season. So it's pretty fantastic.
It's definitely like one of those things, like myself, like looking back at like the old War Pig photos and videos like from 2004, 2005, and the golden era, if you will, of paintball. And it's like, how do we rekindle that? And it's, for me, like, I don't care how much money, because I've spent a lot of fucking money to get to this point on this whole project.
His wife's gonna run in with a baseball bat and go, yes, you do care about how much money you spend.
But I really don't care, because like, I want to see my friends have fun. I want to see smiles. And I've said this several times. I went to the last ICC with Tim, and I remember sitting in the boardroom with Tim and Russell, the creators of ICC, and Tim telling the idea of like, we need to rekindle Tin Man. We need to get back to our roots, and the industry laughing at this guy. Like, that's not what we need to do. And lo and behold, here we are. Several years later, and mech is almost as prevalent, if not more so, than the tournament scene. And you see the old guys, all of us, who are in our 40s, 50s, 60s, coming back in droves to have fun with our friends. That same feeling that we had as kids. And that, to me, is the most important piece, and kind of like the cornerstone of Bunker Fest as a whole is, and we've seen it at Mardi Gras, is like the clumps of teams all huddled around each other, laughing, smiling, having fun, and enjoying the space. Like the field and the game, that's not going to change. You're still going to have hot moments and great moments and terrible moments, and the refs this and paint that. But at the end of the day, you're on the road with your team, and that's where all those memories that we all love and enjoyed over the years comes from. And if I have the ability to make that, 1 time, 3 times, 10 years, whatever the case is, then to me, I made my impact on something that's given me 25 years of that.
Right. Well, like I was saying earlier, it's not so much the event, and a lot of my best friends. I'd have to say the majority of my best friends I've met in paintball.
Right.
It's just it's something special, like Kevin Donaldson, like Tim Schloss, like Dan Colby, like Bud Orr. I cherish these guys. These guys are true friends. And matter of fact, I don't know if you guys know this old guy here, but he's been in paintball for quite a bit. Please, everybody, welcome Mr. Bud Orr.
Hey, bud.
Hey, what's happening,
Hey,
sir?
How are you?
I'm doing great. How about you guys?
Oh man, I feel
Oh, we're having
like
a
I feel
good
young
time.
in the room right now. I'm just saying.
Oh yeah. No,
No.
a couple of weeks ago I had you on and we talked about none of the young jokes. Remember that? Okay.
No, I was listening to your statement, and it follows what I'm thinking all the time. It's just, all the people I've met, and there's been some dingbats, but not very many. But the majority of them are just they're family. It's a paintball family, and no matter where you go, it's awesome. And the more people you meet, the better off you are. And it's just great.
Yeah.
But you made a great statement, man. I'm proud of you.
I,
So,
Well,
I think that's the hardest part about running a league. Chris, you can stop me if I'm wrong, but so if we're providing service to customers, that's an intangibility, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
How do you give a really good experience? And Chris and I have spoken, and the entire Bunkerfest staff, we continually talk about how we're supposed to give the best experience to the players, not just on the field, but in the moments in between.
correct.
There
There you go.
from getting to the event to knowing where registration is to understanding the time schedules to feeling like you're important, not just on the field but off the field as well. That is the biggest focus for myself on my end for Bunkerfest, because everyone needs to be a superstar. I don't give a shit
There you
about
go.
any
Absolutely right.
pro player that's going to be there right now, because right now I don't have any that are there on the field. So every single player that is invested in a Bunkerfest to play is a superstar. That's the bottom line, and we want to make every single player feel like a superstar.
But that's how it should be, and that's how you and I've talked about this before, Jeff. Is the only way to make paintball bigger and better is to make people feel good about that. And the same way with the players, when they go out, you play hard on the field, no doubt about it. But when you're done, you come back off the field, act like a gentleman, act like a lady. Leave whatever problems you have on the field, because if somebody that is not playing paintball yet but is watching you and deciding whether they want to go play or not, if you come off yelling and screaming and stuff like that, good chance they're going to go get in their car and never do anything about paintball ever again.
Right.
So that's the whole point of all of this. So, and we've got a guy here too. I think we got a little feedback somewhere.
I think Bud's got a lot of feedback on his side.
all right. Well, I don't know how. I got everything down.
That's better.
That's it now. It's perfect. I don't know what you did.
He
Yeah.
scratched his ears.
Just
Yeah.
drink it probably. It's fine.
It's
Start
working
drinking more.
good.
We're fine.
That's working good now, bud.
I passed gas.
Fair. Fair enough.
Well, what can I say, man? I don't know. What do I do,
Yeah, there you go. Well, you know what? We got a youngster on, probably the youngest guy that's going to be on this show tonight that Jeff wanted to bring on. So please, everybody, welcome Christian Smith.
Hey, thanks
How
for
you
having
doing,
me on.
Christian?
Hey, how you doing?
I'm doing great. Thanks for having me on. I heard y'all talking about the Tiger Stripe earlier. Had
Yeah.
to show y'all the Tiger Stripe's still going on. This is with my team, the Texas Titans. We do this for our 10-man practices and just having fun. It's nice to meet some of the OGs for the Tiger Stripe.
Yeah, I've been with them. The new Tiger Stripes coming out, the original colors and everything. They're on order right now, so they should be out in the next few weeks here. So it should be pretty cool. Still getting a little bit of feedback here.
It's definitely coming off Bud.
Let me see.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's exactly what it's coming off right there.
He's like the guy, like when you're playing with your online friends. It's like can't hear anybody but him.
Is it now?
Nope, it sounds fine now, but it goes and comes. It's like that time you had the electric fireplace on. Remember that?
Oh yeah. Yeah, I had my heater on. I'm surrounded with equipment.
I know that.
Yeah.
Yeah, I know that. We're fine though. Christian, real quick, seeing that I'm going to pop off your mic real quick there, bud. Christian, you're new to the show, and I've already hit Chris up, so I'm going to hit you up right now. How'd you get started in paintball, my friend?
So I got started with the NCPA, which is the college football scene, back in 2015 was my first time. So I know, Jeff, you were talking about feeling young. I feel like an absolute child right now being here. So I started in 2015 with the Texas Longhorns. I was there for a couple of years.
Coming out of retirement.
So was there in the college scene for a couple of years, graduated, and then soon after that started with the Texas Titans, which is my current team, and we're in year 3 now of playing.
Oh, excellent. So you've played Bunkerfest. Now you've played these guys, their tournaments already, correct?
Yes, I've gotten to play both of them. I got to play the one in Round Rock in 2021, and then last March, just about a year ago now, in Louisiana.
Oh, very cool. What do you think of it? How's it run?
Well, how's our run? So the first one, we ended up taking the gold. We got first place. There's our medal for that, and I ended up getting the coveted tomahawk for MVP in the finals.
But I will say, like, it was like, not to stop you real quick, but like this is like one of those like tangible moments where like instead of like me as like watching the game picking an MVP, we consolidated and asked the team, who was your MVP? And getting to watch the team collectively say Christian was our best player for the tournament, and getting to see that moment and then capture that, making that direct memory, to me is more than what we kind of see where like, hey, this guy played great, and I get to be the outside influence where it's like, hey, on the ground level with the grunts, you pick who your best player was. And things like that to me is what we're trying to have on a different aspect or a different plane with Bunkerfest, and just change the focal points between something that's everybody else is doing, just to tweak it a little bit and make it more special for that individual and those teams.
Yeah, that's why we started the WCPL, and actually Kevin Donaldson, he is the tip of the spear on that. But we've got our ones that we do too, and we brought back to 10-man. That was a real big thing for us to play 10-man and woods ball. It's something that we all started playing paintball that way, because there was no blow up fields. The very first speedball field, I'll call it, I played on was years. It was at Jim Lively's Masters, and it was a bunch of hay bales he had set up down by the water, and that's how we started and gave it a shot. So that was one of the first times I did that. And you were talking about Tim Montresor. I was on a show with Tim's mother, Jennifer, and she said, I had a video back in the day, the Fun Of Paintball with Fred Schultz. Okay, now the key word in that was fun. And that thing sold like 1 million copies. And come to find out that Jennifer had bought that for her son, Tim. And Tim watched the first one so much that it became so grainy he couldn't watch it anymore. They had to buy him a second one.
See, and that goes back to the Christian, with you being one of our customers. And this is hard. This is hard to ask a person that's a customer of ours. Did you have fun? Like, is Bunkerfest worth it as an individual player and for a team? Is it fun, yes or no?
Oh, absolutely. I think that first year that y'all had the Round Rock event, I mean, it's basically in our backyard. Half of us live in Austin. It's like a 10-minute drive for a third of the team, and it was definitely the most fun that we had. at any event that year. I'd say just the atmosphere outside of the competition itself, which was fantastic, highly competitive. The playing experience with the refs, the blind layout, the unique sort of layout that we had, and of course just all of the vendors, and as a whole just the experience was fantastic. And as soon as that event was done, we're like, okay, when's the next one? We're going to sign up for that too. And finding out that it was the Mardi Gras event in Louisiana, we're like, all right, we're there. And just the things that y'all are doing to make it about the experience as a whole, rather than just, hey, you show up, you play your games, you collect your prize and then you leave. No, it's about the experience, and it's about the moments and the memories that y'all are giving us the opportunity to create.
Well, that's how you build paintball, And the guy you're actually sitting right next to, Bodor, this guy still plays paintball. Now he played paintball when we were both young, which is a long time ago, I guess. I won't get into your thing on this, but Bud still plays along with Bill and myself on a team called the Band. And the reason that the band got started was because we're just a bunch of old guys that want to keep pushing the sport of paintball, and that's what happened. And Bud, you still get out there and you still rock pretty darn good, man.
Well, thank you.
But we're landing
I'm
with
not gonna,
Jesus.
I'm not going to ask you what you. I'm not going to ask you what you shoot, but.
Oh, let's see, Automag. Isn't it? No, it's Autococker. Yeah.
Oh
right.
yeah. Oh, Tommy's going to love you for that.
I do shoot an Automag. Don't get that wrong. I love them.
Yeah, I got both, and I had both back in the day too. Way back when. I wish I would have kept my original autococker, but I went over to England and played over in England. And there was a guy called Tim Ty. He was a writer for one of the newspapers over there, and he begged me for that marker, man. So I sold it to him for the same thing I paid for it in the U.S. And then come to find out after I left, he sold it for like 2 or 3 times what I sold it to him for. So I was kind of disappointed off that, but it is what it is, I guess.
That happens a lot. So
yeah, well, over in Australia, some of your markers go for a couple of grand plus. So
yeah, just a body's $500.
Yeah.
I try to sneak them in, but it's kind of hard to do. So. But yeah, I think I might retire next year, but maybe not. I'll be 80 next year, so that'll be.
Well, I thought you were going to go till you were 90.
Well, I probably will. I just keep saying that every year, but I just enjoy it so damn much that. I mean, believe me. I mean, people say, "Oh, you're full of crap," and stuff like that. But no, every time you walk on that field, it's the same feeling I had when I first did it. It's just excitement,
It
You start
absolutely
looking
is.
around and looking at your buddies, and it's just it's in your blood. That's the only thing I could say.
That's what I tell everybody. I said, when I get into starting gate, man, and I'm waiting for the whistle, I get the same excitement now at my age that I did from the first time I went out and did this.
I will say I love playing Tin Man, looking across off the break and seeing 9 of my buddies running into the woods with me. That's just a good feeling. I don't think there's any it's one of the most tangible things with paintball, regardless of when you started, coming hearing the horn and looking across and seeing 10 of your buddies or 9 of your buddies running into the woods with you. That's just a great feeling. I love it. And I don't, it's something you can always continually replicate and always have a great feeling no matter what, until your buddy like Jeff gets 2 gross majors and pulls.
That wasn't my fault.
Oh my God. Back to back gross majors. No big deal.
Wow, Chris.
Yeah.
Wow, thanks.
Yeah, I heard he come off the field and said he got 12 people, so I don't know.
Yeah.
But Jeff,
it wasn't my fault.
Jeff is a heck of a player, though. Jeff still plays at a very, very high level. We go out, we have a good time. Do I expect when we go someplace? Do I expect to go there and win? No. Do I expect to go there and have a good time? Yes. And I'll be honest with you. before the tournament even starts, when I'm hanging out with all my buddies, I've already won, because it's a feeling and a memory that I will keep forever. And that's the kind of stuff I like. You know, do I like the trophies? I got a buttload of trophies. I got a buttload of plaques. I got all of that stuff that I got for years, years, and years. I would trade absolutely every bit of it for my friends. That's where the real wins have came for me over the years.
You know, though,
And to
but
me,
you,
that's like one of the things with Bunker Fest is like making that the focal point where the game is the game and that's always going to be there. But having what you just described as what we, make our main focus, where, like Christian said, you don't just show up, you have things to do, you have, good entertainment, you've got your buddies with you. And that to me is what makes what we're trying to do special. And if we can, send guys back and have that same feeling as the first time, then we're doing our jobs. And it's kind of like a Disneyism, if you will. You're gonna spend a shitload of money playing paintball. It's just an inevitability. But the drive of it is like what you said, is when you show up, you see your friends, you're having a good time, you're busting each other's balls, you have a fun time on town, you have a great time in the field, or whatever the hell happened, and you get to take that back to the hotel, or home or whatever. And that to me is like one of the most important pieces of all this.
but there is a tangibility, though. There is. Chris, you've got to talk about the payouts and the prizes that we're doing. Like you have to talk about what this is.
I mean, yeah, like I think by the time it's all said and done, we're around like $240,000 or $250,000. It's a lot of fucking money.
Yeah.
It's a lot of fucking money.
But what did we do for the young guns, though? Because I love what you did here. So you got
the young guns they're getting a little bit of cash, they're getting cups, they're getting medals. And then I walked out and I was like, that's not enough. And I went out and got these these things are heavy. Like they're WWF style belts. And I channeled my inner Macho Man Randy Savage, made a cool promo video, trashed Thomas Taylor for a good laugh. And, to me, giving those guys an opportunity in a space to grow and play is the least that I can do with this opportunity of having a series.
Right, but if guys like yourself and like Jeff, that's the reason I have Jeff on all the time. I think Jeff is really good for paintball. I like his attitude about the sport. Do all of us like to play and win? Absolutely. Who doesn't?
Yeah.
But do you enjoy building something and leaving something when you're finally gone, knowing that you worked really hard in this sport to make it bigger and better? I think, to me, that is a win all by itself, guys. I think that is tremendous.
I do too. I have to agree with that. And that's something like when I left the ICC, when Tim was there, the last year that he did it, is that, I told Russell the same thing. Is like seeing Tim smile the way that he was smiling. And I've known him for a while on the circuit, and got to see him, in airports and all that, and drinking with him and having dinner. Getting to see that same smile, and then on my end, getting to have that same feeling of seeing all my friends and all we accomplished, and being able to have that same smile. Like I've got a picture of Bunker Fest that Stretch took, and I love looking at it because I know that feeling, and getting to have that same feeling when we got done at Mardi Gras, and I know I'm going to get to do it again here this year, and I look forward to it, knowing that we're giving back to the community. I'm really trying to make the player the focal point at every step of what we're doing. I'm melting my credit card faster than anything right now.
Well, but that's what'll pay off for you, and the way people will remember you also. Are they going to remember you because you made $1 gazillion? They're going to remember you because you were nice. You tried hard to do this. Real quick, I want to give you a real quick example here. Tracy Perez is watching us tonight. Now, I never knew Tracy. I love the girl. Okay. I never knew Tracy. And this is where Gino comes in now. This is a couple of years back. Gino gets a hold of me. He goes, Fred. He goes, Tracy Perez. I go, no. He goes, she has a a bad lung condition. I'll let it go right there. And anyhow, he says her doctor bills are really enormous, and the insurance is taking care of all of it. Is there any way that you could maybe do a raffle or something for her? So, I get a hold of Bill Bailey up there. And I asked Bill, I says, well, what do you think? I said, can you handle the funding part of it? If I handle, getting the prizes and everything else like that, and Bud Orr chipped in too, everybody chipped in. Make a long story short, we did this and we ended up raising a little over $6,000 for her, huh, Billy?
Yeah.
Now, did I know Tracy before this? No. Did I know Gino? I've known Gino for 30 years. I mean, I go back to, National Paintball with him and Rick Fairbanks. So we've been friends for a long time, but I did not know Tracy. And he thought enough of doing this for Tracy to get the paintballers involved to help her out, in which he donated a bunch of stuff too. But that's the point that I'm talking about. That's paintballers helping paintballers. And what that made me feel is, first, I got to meet a terrific lady, which I love Tracy. I am just always grateful that I got to meet her, number one. But I gained so much more respect for Gino and so much more respect for Bill Bailey. And, and everybody that jumped in and donated prizes and stuff like that.
There were a lot of players jumped in, and they made handmade stuff. I mean, there was paintings, there was all kinds of really cool stuff.
Yeah, Bud, same thing.
Yeah.
Oh no, that blew me away. That thing snowballed so fast, it wasn't funny. But
Yep.
But the point being is everybody worked together in the sport of paintball. And if anybody outside of the sport had heard about what was going on or seen what was going on, that's how you draw people into anything, not just our sport, but into anything, is let other people know that, we all would work together and we all are like one big family. And that's what Tracy says too. She says, we're like paintball family. Paintball is strong.
And that's the agreement. Like, with running live media for Chris at the events, I've got to look at guys like Christian and the Titans and every other team across the board that we have that's maxed out for this event. I've got to make sure that they feel that they're welcome. I've got to look off of their smiles. And if someone's not smiling, I've got to figure out why. And we've got to continue to engage the player base to make sure that they feel comfortable enough as us providing that customer service and that experience. And if the players aren't happy, then we're not happy. And that's been the conversation time and time again, especially with doing an entire season this year. And it's how do you make an experience fresh every single time, Chris? And then we're doing an entire season, plus we're doing Denver on the offsite for 7-man. So
Denver's going to be a whole nother beast. So that one's really going to, in all of this, I mean, it's an experiment in the community where we have to, I'm willing to do the work, but at the same time, we have to have the reciprocation from the players saying that, this is what they want. And like Tom Cole the other day with NXL, all his points were valid. It's like, how long will this last, Chris? Fuck, I don't know, man. And I don't really care because I'm getting to have fun with my friends. I'm getting to make some good memories, and hopefully, we do everything right. So it's like, if we get one event, 10 years, 5 events, whatever the case is, we can always look back and say that we gave everything we possibly could to make what we did the best possible product.
There you go.
And,
but Tommy and I've been friends for, we butted heads 30 years ago against each other. He had Bad Company, I had Constant Pursuit. So, he's a terrific guy. And Tommy and I are still really good friends to this day. And when we started the WCPL, just like I told him, I says, this has nothing to do with competing against the NXL. It would be very hard to compete against the NXL because they are so big right now and so entwined in what they do. All we wanted to do is, just like what you guys are doing, give somebody a different venue that they could go out and try it. You can go play woods ball. To go play X ball, you got to be fast. I don't care what anybody says. You got to be fast. You got to be sharp. Okay,
Chris, I didn't know you're that fast. Wow.
Yeah. But
thanks, Modelo.
Yeah, but to go out and play woods ball, anybody can do it. I don't care your
Yeah.
age. I don't care your size. And the fun part is still there. And, look at Bud, Bill, and I, Tim Schloss, I mean, all of us guys are all pushing 50. But anyhow, I know. Did my nose grow?
Well, Fred,
My eye.
someone had challenged me last year. It was right around World Cup time, and I won't say who it was, but it was another league promoter, and they said, "Well, Jeff, your guys' business model is exactly the same than everyone else's." I said, "You're very, very right. The Bunker Fest running, X-ball style points, it's everyone else's business model. I get that, but I told them that the business motivation is entirely different for us. Chris touched he hit the nail on the head. We're just doing this because we can.
Yeah.
There's nothing more than that. Chris,
I can literally give a shit less, like, if I make money, as long as I can pay the bills and buy beer. I really don't care. I'm retired from the Marine Corps, and this is a pet project. I'm trying to get back to 25 years of playing paintball, and if I get to do that, and have fun with my friends, then to me that's all that matters.
Yeah, and it's the same way with the WCPL too. Do we make a lot of money? Absolutely not. You get kicked in the butt on some of this stuff, but you're making a lot of people happy if you do it right. There's when you do a tournament, there's only three things that people don't like. They don't like the paint, they don't like the refs, they don't like the field. So you just you make those things right, and just hope that people go out there and have a good time. And obviously, Chris, you and Jeff have done something right, or otherwise you wouldn't be sold out, would you?
I was sweating bullets. I won't even lie. And I had a lot of anxiety with what was going to happen with this first event. I'm glad the community responded. We had to turn away probably about 30 teams, and so it's just like, and I was telling this other day, it's like, at no point will I allow myself, and this comes back to the military side, like we all talked about before we started, is just being a good good example and doing the right thing, not cutting any corners. If it costs money, it costs money. Just fucking suck it up and do it the right way, because it's going to pay dividends to the back end, but also, those little nuances that you don't see that, you'll do, like coffee. This is a perfect example. When you go somewhere and you want a cup of coffee, it's usually a free item, at a hotel. But then when you go to another hotel and they don't have it, you automatically remember where you were at when you wanted coffee. And so just things like that is something that I really take into consideration, where, it cost me, a couple $100. Could go a couple $100 towards beer, or I can, make that little tangibility piece that you take home and you remember us when it comes time to sign up.
Yeah, well, I know what, we still fly around and do these tournaments. It's not cheap. It's expensive when we go do these things, but to me, I'd rather have the memory, a good memory, than a couple of dollars right now. Especially the older you get, Chris, and the more you guys will understand it. You guys are still pretty young, but the older you get, the more it means to you to actually go and do something like this and hang out with your friends and enjoy the moment. Am I right, Bud?
Yeah, 100% right. Yes.
I mean, do we have a good time?
Oh, we have a blast. I mean, on, off the field, dinner, whatever. We're just have a great time.
That's because we get together, and how often do you get together without paintball? Once in a while, but not a lot.
I can't remember the last time I did.
Yeah, see, that's what I mean. Paintball, that to me is why paintball is such a good thing. And I don't know you, Kristen, that good, and I don't know Chris that good, but I know that the other three guys I got up here, I've known them for a while, and I know what they do for the sport of paintball. And that to me is absolutely terrific. And Bud, you started doing stuff for paintball, 100 years ago, and you're still doing it, man.
Oh God!
I came over on the Mayflower.
I know. I was rowing.
Yeah, I remember that. Yeah,
I was the oarman. Yeah.
I shot you in the ass a couple of times because you were slowing down.
That
See,
was you, huh?
that was
Every time I
me.
turned around, you were looking the other way. Ah, I got it
Yeah,
now.
you never do that?
Oh my
Oh,
God.
shit.
See, that's what I'm talking about. When you hang out with the band, this is what you get 24/7. Is people having a good time. Now that's a memory. Now I'm going to be trying to remember for days when he shot me in the ass. When I was rowing the Mayflower across like that. So
Well, the next time I see you, I'll refresh your memory.
I
How's that one?
love it. Poor Christian's over here going, "Oh my God, I don't know if I want to grow up."
I'll let you run out first. There you go.
There you go.
You see, I'm usually the back guy on my team, so I'm the one that gets to give the other guys the memories.
Oh,
Yeah,
there you go.
I like that one.
So you're going to play in this Bunker Fest, am I correct, Christian?
Yes, my team has actually committed to the full series this year. We had such a blast at the first two events. We really believed in the Bunkerfest product, so we said, you know what, we're gonna just full on commit, make this our main series. So we're gonna be at all four of the events this year, and then probably at Denver as well.
I mean, Texas Titans were the first people to sign up, like one of the first teams when we did Mardi Gras and then paid for the entire season. So, I mean, hopefully that's a testament to all the other teams out there that are considering, that just don't know if they want to play Bunkerfest yet. I mean, there are folks that say, "Hey, I want to do this the entire way for the 2023 season." So, Christian, thank you guys so much for doing that. That means a lot to us.
Oh, and I mean, just thank you all for providing this opportunity for us. I mean, I know that at least here in Texas, I've done a lot of research on how things are here, and Bunkerfest is definitely a welcome change to the local scene. And so, we're looking forward to it. And even going back to what Chris was saying earlier about those little like quality of life additions to his thing. I mean, at the last event, he did a crawfish boil for all the players. And things like that are the things that we definitely remember.
That's something, like working with Drew and the field owner, just like an easy little thing. Like, hey man, how much 75 pounds is the crawfish gonna cost me? All right, it's gonna be this. All right, make it happen, dude.
Very cool.
Am I gonna see money from that? Absolutely not. But guys went home and be like, hey dude, I had crawfish for the first time with my buddies.
And 100% shout out to LAX Paintball and Drew Bankston. If you've never played at LAX and you've never been there and met those guys that run that field, you are missing out. That is a fantastic family crew that runs a great field. Like, those guys are just fantastic.
Down by LA?
There's good people.
Ambush
Louisiana.
Paintball down there too. Oh, Ambush Paintball down in LA is another one I've got. It's terrific place. Glenn Forrester owns it, and it's absolutely great. And we've got Jessica Cortez. She's watching us from Hawaii. Now, this is another lady that, like we were talking about earlier, you get to meet some of the best people in the world through the sport of paintball. And Jessica's another one of those right there. I absolutely love it. So, Chris, real quick, you got a schedule, obviously, because you're talking about more than one tournament. Why don't you tell us real quick about your schedule that you got going this year?
So our next event will be May 19th to 21st. That's going to be the second iteration of the X-Ball tournament. And then we're going to jet out to Denver in July for 7-man. We're going to come back to the park, and we're going to have our third event for the X-Ball series will be in August. And then our last event for the X-Ball series will be in October. And if all goes well, we will have our charity 10-man Toys for Tots tournament in December.
Oh, very cool. And Jeff's going to be with you on all of those?
Unfortunately, Jeff will be right there with me, making sure that we're doing what we got to do.
Oh, because I got to be the logical drunk one. Is what it is.
yeah. Somebody's got to drive, huh?
Well, no, that's not true because I'm drinking. So we don't ever encourage drinking and driving. Now, Chris, let's go ahead and plug the field where we're doing things at, so that way everyone knows.
So Gio, he runs and owns Hollywood Sports out in California, and he came out to Texas and built Giant Party Sports in Dallas. And he's given us the opportunity to have a home field to get the best out for the first season. And he's got the ability at the park to have up to 5 fields, which no other Texas field facility has. And so we wanted to use that as our first junction point to build the league, show everybody what we're capable of, and really highlight the park and grow from there. So big thank you to Gio as well as his staff at the park.
Very cool. Well, guys, I'm sure your events are going to be good. Having Chris hooked up with you, having Jeff hooked up with you, Chris, I think is a plus, because I think the guy is. Yeah, I know he's going to want to raise after this, and there's nothing I can do about it.
No, I'm trying to pay this man, and he says no, and then he just drinks alcohol. So it's an easy gig for me.
So no,
I got it. Okay, you get him hammered and tell him you paid him already.
You said it. Now, here's the thing, and I'll tell everyone this. Everyone thinks this is really weird, because I was just at the ICPL, and people were asking me, "Hey, how much does Chris pay you to do like live media at these events?" And I'll tell everyone, because it's not a secret. I deny Chris's pay. Why? Because it goes back to what we've talked about. Paintball has given me the opportunity to build relationships and friends and stories and all these wonderful things. Chris has been my friend for a long time. I've gone to Chris's house. I've stayed at his place. I've played with his kids. I know his wife. The only thing that I ask Chris to do for me when I do these Bunker Fest things for him
is get text messages at 3 a.m. asking for the most wild ass shit.
Yeah,
because he's drunk.
That's about it. I don't take any pay from Chris. I don't take any cut from Bunker Fest. And I tell Chris, the first time we did Bunker Fest, his wife got really mad at me because I refused to take this paycheck. I said, you know what, just put it back towards like the players or like another award or some shit like that, because it didn't bother me. I do this because I really love it. Chris is one of my very, very good friends, and I would do anything for him. I would do anything for his family, and I would do anything to see guys like Christian build more relationships and memories with their teams, because I've had that opportunity. I'm 42 years old this year. Am I retiring behind the gun? No, because Bud's going to play till he's like 104, which is probably next year. I love you, Bud. I really do. But why? I just do this because I have fun. This is my mental release and catalyst, just to meet more people and get more experiences. That's where I feel my places in life right now. And if I can see guys like Christian and the Titans, or Rip City United, that's from the West Coast, see those guys be happy and come back for more, that's all I care about. That's my personal ROI.
Absolutely right. Very well put. You
That's
and I
awesome.
talk, when you and I
awesome.
talk, that's what we talk about is how much we like paintball. And that's one of my big sayings. Individually, we can all do something for paintball, but collectively we can do a lot for paintball. And that's the whole purpose on this show here, bringing people together to talk about it. And it might inspire somebody to go play. It might inspire somebody to get a hold of one of you guys to maybe help you do something. That's what I enjoy a lot about doing this type of a thing, and having Bud on. Bud's done stuff forever, and Bud is still out there playing, still out there promoting the sport, and we're just hoping you guys are going to do the same thing then too. I don't know, Bud, you're older than I am. So that's why you call me your younger brother.
Well, yeah,
I'll be
about that
73
much.
this year. Okay, I'll be 73 this year, so I'm not ashamed of how old I am. It's no big deal. I'm pretty close to oil, but not quite yet. So.
Close to oil.
Yeah, like a dinosaur.
I got it.
Yeah, that's what I was hoping I wouldn't have to draw a stick in. Okay, but yeah. So, Christian, you're going to be the first. I'm just about done with my hour. I appreciate you jumping on and telling us, giving us your experiences you've had with these guys, and what you think of Bunker Fest. So I'm going to let you say goodbye to them and goodbye to our audience, and I want to thank you right off the top for coming on tonight.
Oh, definitely appreciate the offer, the opportunity to come on. Thank you, Jeff. Thank you, Chris, for everything that you've built so far. We're really excited to be able to participate throughout the year and come root for the Texas Titans. We're going to be the very first game on the webcast Friday morning, 8:15 a.m.
Yes, sir. You are the first game on Friday.
Good luck, man. God be with you. That's
Yeah, good luck, man.
Right on, guys.
Can't wait to see what you have in store for us on this layout.
Hey, that's
But
fun. I've been working on it since Mardi Gras. So
glad to see you on the program.
Right
Thank
on,
you.
You're an
Christian.
ass. You're a great asset.
And
Appreciate it.
that's coming from Bodawar. That's a high praise. So he tells me to take a hike. So you're way above that right now. I don't know. All right, Christian, you have a good evening, my friend. Again, thank you.
All right. Thank you. Take care.
All right. Everybody, that was Mr. Christian Smith. That was a very good choice, Jeff, bringing him on tonight.
he runs a podcast that's pretty been taken off too. So
That was pretty cool. Yeah, I just, when I found out, Jeff was involved in this, because I had Jeff on with the Filipino paintballers a couple of weeks ago, and that's what made me so interested about doing this, is because I know it was coming up close. That's why I put a show I was going to do this week off, so that we could do this, because I know we are coming down to the wire for this. And same thing for the WCPL. We got WCPL next week too. So, and I'm definitely looking forward to that also. So, Kristen, I appreciate it again, my friend. You were very good. If you're still listening to me. And Chris, you're next, my friend. I want to start by thanking you for taking the time to come on tonight.
I appreciate
and
having
telling
me
us
on.
a little bit about it. So,
It was great seeing you, man.
yeah,
Good talking with you guys. Thank you for having me on, and appreciate the laughs.
No problem. You have a good evening, my friend.
You all as well. Be safe. Take care.
And good luck on your event this coming weekend.
I appreciate it, sir. Thank you very much.
You
My
betcha.
pleasure. My pleasure. Right on, everybody. That was Mr. Chris Rangel. It's a pretty good choice, Jeff. You picked some pretty good guys to be on here tonight.
well. Again, paintball gives you the opportunity to meet some fantastic people. Again, I've known Chris for 10 some odd years. I met Christian before he was actually part of Bunker Fest, just in the Austin, Texas area, just in scrimmages and practices. And he's always been a good kid. Like, he's always been a good dude. And it's yet you gravitate towards good people, and good things happen. And that's the magic of paintball.
That is the bottom line right there, what you just said. Absolutely. All right. Well, I'll tell you what, Jeff, you're next. Obviously, I'm going to thank you for coming on tonight. I appreciate it very much. I enjoyed having you on a couple of weeks ago. I thought that was a kick in the butt, and I'm looking forward to dragging you back out here again.
Anytime.
Yeah.
I think
So
the last thing I'd want to let people know is that we encourage everyone to come play Bunker Fest. And the thing is, we don't want your money. We want you to have the experience and memories that we're trying to provide. That's it. Like, money aside, that's not a thing. Like, money has to sustain itself because we have to pay for things, and I get that. That's why paintball isn't free, right? But the number one thing about Bunker Fest, we want people to play because we want you to be a part of Bunker Fest as not just a customer but an investor, because we invest in you, and we expect you guys to invest back in us, because there's a demand on us. We try to have very heavy shoulders with all the staff members that are there. Chris has handpicked every single person to make, not just to be responsible for something, but to have the ability to make decisions on how to provide the best customer and player experience to every single person that's invested in.
because that's not easy. I mean, I get
It's
people.
hard.
It is. And I get people, because I've held tournaments forever. I held NPPL tournaments way back in the day, all the way up to now with the WCPL. And I've had people come up to me and go, "Oh, this is this." And I tell them, I go, "Have you ever held a tournament?" And they're like, "No." I go, "Well, go hold one, then come back and talk to me." I want you to see just how easy it really is to do this.
And there has been so much inherent risk, not risk, but like it gets to the voodoo man of the room, because we ran the event in Round Rock, and then we ran the event in Mardi Gras the next year, and we asked for open feedback. We said, you know what, tell us what you didn't like, but please do bring something to the table that says maybe you should have done this. If you're gonna come to the table with a problem, come to the table with a solution as well, so we can take that into consideration. And everything that people complained about, for whatever reason it was, we took that into consideration. We make it a full analysis with all the Bunker Fest staff. We say, hey, these are what people said. How do we fix this, or how do we address this, and how do we make this better? That's the bottom line every single event. And I guarantee that's going to happen again after event one.
And that's how you do it. All right. I got to tell you, Jeff, again, my friend, I appreciate so much you coming on. I enjoy talking to you. And
Anytime, gentlemen.
oh, yeah,
You're
I'm going to
awesome,
drag you back
Jeff.
out after a couple of these. I'm going to drag you back out and I want you to tell us how it's going.
I would love to do that, gentlemen. I really would. And I definitely want to get dressed with the band. I'm telling you right now, you guys call and say, "Hey, Jeff, come play with the band." I'm coming out there. Hands down.
You know what? We're considering it here. We're considering it. You're the kind of guy we like, so we'll see.
You let me know. I'm going to be there.
You're pretty young. We're kind of against that, but other than that.
I'll get one of those paste-on beards so I can kind of fit in. It'll be fine.
No,
now you're getting my
drive our
attention.
Oaks bus.
Yeah. Make sure it's white.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right, Jeff. You have a good evening, my friend.
Gentlemen, take care.
I love you, man. Take care.
All right, everybody. Jeff Munoz. Boy, I got to tell you, but I butchered his name at the beginning. Oh, I'm so embarrassed. I was hoping Bill would help me out, but Bill, every time I ask Bill for a hand, he looks down like he's doing something.
He gives you a hand. That's a hand.
Yeah. He gives me most of it.
Yeah.
Well, right on, bud. I appreciate you jumping in with us tonight, buddy.
Thank you, man, for having me on. I really appreciate it.
Oh, you're always welcome. You know better than that. Come on, you're my brother, my older brother. Let's keep that straight. But I love
Stay
you,
in
man.
the green room. Hey, bud, stay in the green room.
Yeah, stay in the green room. Okay, we love you, man.
I love you. Take care.
Right. Everybody, Mr. Bud Orr, War Game Products, Auto Cocker. Man, that was pretty good tonight, huh?
Yep.
Yeah, right off the top, we had like 33 people watching instantly. So that was pretty cool. Yeah. You get guys on, Jeff's such a great guy, and Bud, come on. It's like the cream of the crop up there. I love it. So, all right, Billy. Well, I'm going to say goodbye to everybody, and looking forward to seeing you next week.
See everybody. 2 weeks, almost. Well, a week and a half, whatever.
Yeah, I actually take off next Monday, but we're going to go see our daughter up in Alabama, and then I'm going to go from there down to Florida. So,
yeah. Well,
right on, brother.
We're taking off Wednesday, so we'll head that way.
I got the same hotel you guys got, so we're at the same place.
Oh, sweet. Yep.
So,
all righty.
It was the one you sent me. Now that's not like a joke, was it?
Maybe. No. That's where we're at.
Right on, brother. All right. Bye, Billy. All right, everybody. I appreciate so much you guys watching us tonight. Great group. I love the people. I always love the people I have on. I pick and choose who I want to put on this show, and I keep it that way because to me, building paintball is a very big thing. People always talk about, I want to do this. I want to do this for paintball. Well, I see a lot of lips moving, but I don't see a lot of bringing people together to make it happen. And that's what I really try to do. And I try very, very hard for it. So, like I said earlier, individually, we can do a lot for paintball. Collectively, we can kick butt. And that's what we want to do. So I appreciate, once again, everybody watching. I appreciate all my guests tonight. I look forward to seeing you. I'll be on the road next week, but I will be live next week on the road from a undisclosed bunker. So please, until next week, 7 p.m. Pacific time on Facebook, on Flagpole Productions, everybody, please play hard, play safe, play fair, get out there and play paintball. All right? See you guys next week now.